You're listening to the Empowered to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Dina T, and I'm so excited to take you on a journey through stories of everyday experts as we share the ways we've harnessed the power inside us to improve the quality of our lives and the health of our minds. We're so excited to have you here with us and hope you feel inspired and empowered to heal. Hello, you beautiful souls. We are starting today's episode out with some inspirational music from MyTuneIn. MyTuneIn.org is a nonprofit organization that has been created and designed to support our youth, our young people who have gone through difficulties in their lives or experienced hardship to help them have outlets for expressing themselves. MyTuneIn does this through all different forms in media by providing access to the resources that these young people need in order to express themselves in the modality that resonates with them the most. It provides resources and training to develop the skills to express themselves in the way that they are most drawn to or feel comfortable or confident in. It helps them break out of their comfort zones and try new things. And today I'm bringing you a beautiful song called Alice Avenue, written by one of the MyTuneIn youth and produced by MyTuneIn. I hope you guys enjoy.
I'll be spending time with you down on Alice Avenue, where people come to pass and roses come to bloom. The place where I grew up, the place where they grew older, a home that I once longed for, now lifted off my shoulders. And I won't look back, there are better things to come. The dragons that he chased have now flown into the sun, and all the tears I cried have a purpose now. All the souls that died can grow like roses from the ground. I'll be wasting time with you down by Alice Avenue, park where my brothers played, the land where I was made, the place that we call hell, place that I was held upon my father's handlebars, listening to him bell. But I can't look back, there are better things to come. The dragons that he chased have now flown into the sun. The times that I spent there, they never will be. But now I know that I can grow like a flower from the concrete.
Wow, what a powerful, powerful song. I hope you guys enjoyed that just as much as I did. If you guys would like to participate, volunteer, or donate to MyTuneIn, please visit mytunein.org. That's MyTunein.org. I'd like to spend time today talking about a topic that's a little bit heavier. This topic is oftentimes politically charged and creates a lot of emotions within the folks who are talking about it. Today, I want to talk about the mass shootings we've experienced in our country. In the past week, we have experienced 2 mass shootings. On March 16th, in the Atlanta area of Georgia, 8 people died from a mass shooting. On March 22nd, in the Boulder, Colorado area, 10 people died of a mass shooting. I want to create space to honor those who have lost their lives, those who were working, going about their typical day-to-day, living their life normally, not doing anything illegal, not doing anything dangerous. Those who were mothers, fathers, children, brothers and sisters, those who were living the American dream, and those who were simply just grocery shopping to feed themselves and their families. I want to honor those who lost their lives in these shootings. And I want to call attention to the fact that this is not a rare occurrence. It is safe to say that here in America, mass shootings are normal. It is common to learn that within a single incident, somebody was able to take the lives of 4 or more people by shooting them and killing them. That's the definition of mass shooting. It's killing 4 or more people with a gun at the same general time in the same general location. It is normal to be living the American dream and be murdered along with a mass group of other people. I know that this is unfavorable to many to talk about, but it deserves attention. And this podcast is designed to empower people on their healing journey. This is a part of the healing journey, talking about the hard stuff and discussing how we can heal through it. You see, mass shootings are a common experience for Americans. So common that we talk about it, we fight about the politics of it, and then we go about our days and we hear about the next mass shooting. Sometimes we become numb. Sometimes we don't care to read about the next one because we're tired of hearing it all, or it's just going to be same as the other. But we have a huge problem in our country with mass shootings. And we're not resolving it. Instead, we're fighting about the cause. Other developed countries have proven that stronger legal restrictions on owning and purchasing guns has dropped gun violence. Harvard School of Public Health Injury Control Research Center has researched this and shared the results. You can turn on the news today and hear people talking about the reality that nearly 2/3 of gun deaths are suicides in the United States, that the U.S. gun suicide rate is 10 times that of other high-income countries. This is according to everytownresearch.org. Every year in America, nearly 40,000 people are killed with guns. Every day in America, more than 100 people are shot and killed, and more than 230 people are shot and wounded. Firearms are the leading cause of death for American children and teens. This information's hard to hear, but it's the truth. Oftentimes, people say, we don't want gun control because how can we protect ourselves? People feel that they need weapons of war within their home in order to keep their family safe, as if everyday life is war. And they're right. Everyday life is war when you're living in a country where mass shootings are so prevalent, where you get killed for going to elementary school, high school, the grocery store, the salon, concerts. But if people didn't have easy access to automatic rifles, semi-automatic rifles, if background checks were thorough and databases for background checks were updated regularly, if we were to fix the flaws in the data systems and expanded background checks in general, we would be able to decrease the amount of deaths and occurrences of mass shootings in America. Now you hear the arguments that criminals will always be criminals. We might decrease deaths, but that's the suicide rates, not the mass shootings. Into that, I say, look at other countries who have figured it out. We do not have to reinvent the wheel on this one. Other developed, high-income countries have figured this out. They've already created the recipe that works, where people can continue to have guns for protection and hunting, and death rates decrease, mass shootings decrease, suicide rates decrease, deaths by guns decreases. We do not have to reinvent the wheel on this one. And so the silly arguments around the fact that if I own a gun, or if there's more good people out there with guns than there are bad people out there with guns, then the good people will stop them. Not true. The places where mass shootings are occurring, where you can carry a concealed weapon, that's not the case. People aren't stepping up. Civilians are not stepping up and firing back at these mass shooters. There's instances where they may have, but the large majority of them are not. So that thinking is not proven to be true. People also say it's not the gun that kills people, it's the people that kill people. We need to address mental illness. This is a mental health crisis. I agree we need to address mental illness, and we need to decrease the easy access to weapons for people who are not well and create systems to check in on the people who own guns when they might not be doing well, for their safety and the safety of others, just like we do for driver's license. When someone is not well enough to drive, they can have a license suspended, and then they can become well enough to drive again and get their license back. There are systems already created that have not been put into effect because they have not been passed through legislature in order to do this for guns. And we need it. We cannot simply say, get the people who are mentally ill help, because guess what? Our mental health system, we already know that it's lacking in many areas, but that's a bigger issue to fix that people are trying to work on and fix. Do we wait around for years and years and years for that ginormous beast of a system to go through overhauls or get fixed? Or do we pass some legislature to decrease the access to guns in the first place? And let's talk about the stigma that mass shooters are people with mental illnesses. Only 25% of mass shooters have been identified to have a diagnosable mental health condition. Only 25%. Yes, you have to be going through some pretty rough stuff to be in the mindset to want to go on a murderous rampage, but that doesn't mean you have a diagnosable mental health condition. In fact, that's the same ratio of people who have a diagnosable mental health condition amongst general population. So therefore, the argument that people who are diagnosed with mental illnesses are more likely to be mass shooters or are the mass shooters is absolutely inaccurate. There is not a higher percentage rate ratio anything proving that that is true. So you might be thinking right now, well, what can I do to impact this? And we can do a lot. And one big thing we can do is talk about this, help erase the stigma that mental health is the root cause of mass shootings. It's not. Other countries have mentally ill individuals and do not have mass shootings to this degree. I appreciate how my husband speaks about the stigma attached to mental illness. He calls mental illness the boogeyman. It's this big hype that he sees mental illness being pictured as or displayed as in movies or amongst conversations. And in reality, it's not any of that. The majority of people who have struggles with their mental health or have diagnosable mental illnesses are not dangerous or aggressive individuals. They're not the individuals causing harm to people around them. Research shows this to be true, and the American Psychology Association talks about this. They're the ones who are responsible for creating diagnoses anyways, and creating the rules and ordinances and boards that govern the clinicians that provide these services to people with mental health diagnoses. And it's fascinating to hear straight from the horse's mouth that these diagnoses are no more than a label and a term in order to help clinicians understand what treatment modalities are most effective and communicate that in a simplified way and be able to bill for it. Yet, mental illness gets utilized, diagnoses get utilized instead as a boogeyman, as the thing to fear and be afraid of, this big unknown. And I bet you know people in your life, in your family, your friends, your neighbors, maybe even yourself, who has struggled with the health of your mind. And it has not made you a murderer. So let's just all take a minute to digest that, and let's implement that in the way we talk, in the way we share knowledge and experiences with each other. People who struggle with the health of their mind and are working on strengthening the health of their mind are not dangerous people. They are simply people. And every single person in this world has moments in time where they need to work on the health of their mind. So something you can do now is start talking about mental illness to erase the stigma attached to it. You can also take action with your local senators in talking about this issue and demanding legal reform around background checks, around obtaining guns. I'm going to add a link in the show notes of a way that you can connect with your senators to help them take action. The U.S. House has passed 4 pieces of legislation around gun reform in order to tighten up and fix the loopholes around background checks and obtaining firearms without background checks. We need to help the Senate support gun safety and help deliver the first federal gun safety law in over 25 years. act.everytown.org has a form that we can fill out to send a message to our senators in order to take action on this need. In addition, I feel like it's important to spend some time speaking to the way that we engage with ourselves and the world around us in a manner that spreads healing and love. We can inadvertently affect and change other people's days just by how we go about our own day. And love has so much power to it. I was watching the TED Talk by the mother of one of the young men who was the shooters in the Columbine shooting. And she shared that she had no idea that her son was struggling with depression or that he would do anything to that degree. She knew that her son had perfectionist qualities and that he was more of an independent individual. She knew that her son had some painful experiences at school, but she did not know. There weren't warning signs that she saw or that she can rack her brain on in order to see what she could have done differently in parenting him. And she's tried. And it makes me see and know and understand the power of how we exist in this world, not just as an individual going through our isolated lives, but as a collective. We are social beings who impact one another around us. We send out messages through our words, our body language, our energy, how we interact with the world and the people around us that impact others around us. And if we want to live a life of love and finding peace and social justice, we have to give the world what we're requesting. Yes, that means sometimes we stand up and we have a big, strong voice and we say what we need to say and we assert ourselves. And it also means that we show up with compassion and love and respect and equality and equity and dignity. And we stand for these things in a way that represents what we believe in and what we want in this world. And so I invite you guys to live your lives in a way that represents the collective, not just an individual person. We are a community. And we need to engage and support one another, strangers and neighbors, friends and foes, as a community. If we can live a life through love, if we can engage others around us through love, we can impact other people's days, the way they feel, their self-confidence, their view of the world and people around them, help provide them hope. This podcast is a space to empower and inspire people in their healing journeys and to showcase big stories and life lessons of people who have been through varying experiences and have gained knowledge and insight and understanding that they're sharing with the world around them. And we have learned through the stories we've heard just thus far that relationships and connection and access to things that bring us joy and purpose and meaning and fulfillment and validation as a human being are things that promote wellness, mental wellness, right? The health of the mind. It benefits the health of the mind. And so I invite you guys to take space within yourselves, to enter and engage with this world and the collective in a manner that represents what you want to see in our world. So yes, this is a politically charged conversation, but I feel like we need to honor those who are dying constantly in our country. We need to honor them and do something about it. I have a list here of the 18 people who were killed this past week in these 2 mass shootings in our country. Some of the names I won't be able to pronounce well, but I am going to do my best. I want to honor them, and I want to take a minute for us to hear their names. I want to say their names and honor them. Lynn Murray, Boulder, Colorado. Jody Waters, Boulder, Colorado. Kevin Mahoney, Boulder, Colorado. Eric Talley, Boulder, Colorado. Terry Liker, Boulder, Colorado. Suzanne Fountain, Boulder, Colorado. Lana Bartkowiak, Boulder, Colorado. Ricky Olds, Boulder, Colorado. Nevin Stanisic, Boulder, Colorado. Denny Strong, Boulder, Colorado. Young IU, Atlanta, Georgia. Soon Chung Park, Atlanta, Georgia. Sun Cha Kim, Atlanta, Georgia. Hyun Young Grant, Atlanta, Georgia. Dayu Fang, Atlanta, Georgia. Xiaojie Tan, Atlanta, Georgia. Paul Andre Michaels, Atlanta, Georgia. Delania Ashley Yon, Atlanta, Georgia.
My fingers split apart somehow and you fell through the cracks like sand.
The songs featured in this episode are brought to you by the nonprofit organization mytunein.org. The youth who wrote, composed, and sings these songs has navigated hardships and mental health battles and found songwriting, singing, and music as a form of healing. You can participate, volunteer, or donate to this nonprofit organization at www.mytunein.org. That's www.mytunein.org. And support our youth in honoring their story, providing access to resources for self-expression, and supporting them in the production process. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are going to replay the second song, King of New York, at this time.
Lost his crown. I told the truth.